Warren Buffett just said that the good times of the economy are actually coming to an end very soon. And he gave us some suggestions that I think are very interesting that we could all take note on. So we want to go over those suggestions with y'all on how you can navigate in the upcoming economy that we're coming into. So stay tuned because we got some juice for y'all.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I know a lot of people say like recession's coming, yada yada yada. But when Warren Buffett says it, you gotta pay attention. You know, he's not really into clickbait. This man's like 97 years old. It doesn't really matter. But if you're watching right now, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't done so, and let's jump right into it. So this is, once again, not clickbait, and this is not something he said like 5 years ago or nothing like that, right? This is literally very recent. It says Warren Buffett says incredible period for America's economy is ending, right? And this is advice to anxious investors. So when you come down here, this came out September 10th, as I said, 2023. It's very, very recent. And we just want to go through everything here. So the link to this will be in the description below so you guys can follow along. But essentially, this whole article is talking about different things you guys can do, right? So it says a combination of high inflation, rising interest rates, and an ongoing banking crisis have made Buffett and his long lost business partner, Charlie Munger, who I think is hilarious. That's really
Long time business partner.
yeah, my bad. Long time. It's crazy because every time I think about Charlie Munger, I think of you and I, bro. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be us when we're older. This is basically it.
New Buffett and Munger for sure.
It's just joking because he's actually always cloudy. They're both trolls. But right now, when you think about it, it's like, yo, this is really what's happening, right? Inflation, interest rates, you have the banking crisis. They're obviously scared. So like, okay, what's going on? So they're saying this is stuff that you guys could do. So number one thing is diversify with recession-resistant assets. So, bro, what's your take on that piece, bro?
Yeah, I actually like what they were saying here because if anything, if you're looking at an economy that, different industries that are severely impacted by high inflation or, different things that we've been seeing, obviously high interest rates, you want to find the things that are not impacted by those things like high inflation, high interest rates. You want to find what can survive in any type of economy. And I feel like that's their focus right now, is trying to find things that we could invest into that no matter what the economy is doing, it's going to produce for you. That's the smartest thing because as we know, this whole year, everybody's gotten it wrong as far as what's going to happen to the economy.
No one's been right. That's true.
No one's been right. No one knows. It's like, oh man, the economy's going to be great. It's going to be bad. No one knows what's coming because that COVID time period was unprecedented. We've never dealt with that before. The type of money that got put into the economy, we've never dealt with that before. This housing market, we've never dealt with it before. So we might as well just stick with investing into industries that are resistant to high inflation and high interest rates.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's crazy because we've been saying this for quite some time. Like, I believe in cash flow. I think you also believe in cash flow. And I think this is kind of what he's saying. Like, of course you could have stocks and you could have bonds and you could have all these different things you want to invest in. But at the end of the day, if you have something that's making you cash flow on a monthly basis, it's basically recession resistant. Like, for example, if you have someone paying you rent on a home, you're going to need a place to live. Like, people in COVID, yeah, they put a pause to rent, but like eventually you still have to pay it. And if you had a system where the tenants still had to pay you, there was a system that you actually made up, you were still good. So I think it's very important to be a part of a recession-resistant asset like real estate or just having bonds in general. So I think it's a great idea.
And bro, look at what he suggested, like, or that they're suggesting here, right? Like that's a REIT. That's a commercial REIT that has to do with healthcare properties. Mm-hmm. So look at it and you say one thing that will always be existent is the fact that people will need medical help no matter what. So investing into real estate properties that are catering towards medicine or catering towards hospitals, for example, like you see there, you're gonna make some money. And that one specifically, that CareTrust REIT, has a 5.56% dividend yield. So that's a solid option for everybody. I agree.
That's a fact. And then let's go on to the second, right? So this one, people might have a little bit of different take on. So it says, consider commercial real estate. We know commercial real estate has been a huge part of the U.S. economy. Like, investors love it. If you have the ability to own commercial real estate and you have that type of money, you obviously love it because it gives you back great returns. But lately, people have been turned off by commercial real estate because of the whole COVID scenario that just took place, right? So what's your take on that? Like, do you think it's good? Do you think if you can get involved, you should? Or do you think you should be more in the residential space.
I think there's nothing wrong with commercial real estate. People gotta understand it's really more so office spaces that was going down in commercial real estate because of the whole work from home environment. But listen, we still need businesses are still out there physically. It's just work from home changed things. But some businesses can't be a work from home environment. For example, like a grocery store. That's why you see them mentioning things like Kroger or Walmart, and CVS, because no matter what, people are gonna have to go in to get those things. Even if you fuel it with AI, there's still property itself to house the inventory. So no matter what, commercial real estate is going to always be a thing. It's always going to be an asset class to invest into.
Yeah, that's definitely true. In my opinion, I would just say, like, I know most people, you guys most likely do not have the ability to get into commercial real estate because it is expensive to get into. So I would actually advise people, if you have the ability to rent out your own home in a certain way, you should do that. Like if you have the ability to live in the basement yourself and renovate your house in a way that you can make your basement livable, it's legal, you should do that, right? So you can live in the basement yourself or rent out your basement. Maybe you guys could take a loan against your own home and then go buy some property and then go into residential real estate. But like we were talking about earlier, this whole piece about having recession resistant asset, I would advise that because I think it's more doable. But commercial real estate is a great path, obviously.
Yeah, and like that sentence says up there real quick, it does say, as well as there are new platforms that do democratize the access to commercial real estate opportunity.
Oh, like Fundrise. I know people like Fundrise a lot. I know that people have been talking about that a lot. So I think that one is a good one. I personally do not invest in Fundrise. I'm sorry, I don't invest in them. I don't think you do, bro. Yeah, they're not sponsored, but they are good from what I've heard. Like I know people use them. So if you guys want to check it out, definitely do so.
Yep.
And then this one. So explore international stocks. I'm a little iffy on that. Like I will be honestly with you guys. Like, so obviously, this whole thing is saying while developed markets like US, Britain, France, New Zealand, Canada face high recession, someone that's not really facing recession is India. That's pretty hot right now. That people are saying that India does not really, I don't want to say does not because obviously I'm Indian, but I don't want to jinx it. But like it's very low that, they're going to go through recession right now. So I don't want to jinx that part. I will personally say I don't have much exposure to international stocks, and that's really because I just invest in VOO or QQQ, and I think investing in the biggest companies in the world is going to give me the exposure to international environments, because the biggest companies like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, they're going to go international. So that's how I think about that.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. I'm not really into the whole international stock thing myself, but I will say there are opportunities there if you could find the gems in developing markets. So like they mentioned India, for example. India, if you expect India to have a great economy in upcoming years, then you want to find the best companies in their great economy, the companies that should be thriving. For example, they mentioned they have HDB, and since 2001, it's delivered a return of over 4,300%. And it even survived well during the 2008 financial crisis. So it's not that you have to necessarily go deep in and have 10 stocks from what you call a country like India,
right?
But you can find the gem, find the apple of India. You know what I mean?
And I think it's actually easier said than done sometimes, or not easier said than done. I think it's actually pretty easy, to find those big companies, because when you guys are investing in international stocks, you want to think about this. Like, don't look for the small cap companies, because that's risky, right? Especially in a recession, you don't want to do that. But if you have the ability to find a good large company that has a good balance sheet, that has good financials, that's well known, that's something you guys could probably bet on if you guys want to go the international route. As I said, personally, I'm sticking with the big dogs here because they obviously have shown that they can survive during any time period. So that's me right now.
And I'll say one thing to that. I guess the thought process there for the ones recommending international is that, okay, if our economy does start to suffer, Apple's and Microsoft, everybody's going to suffer. So you find the economy that will thrive and ride that wave until we get back on par.
Yeah, that's a fact. You guys could always diversify in that sense, right? Like you got to do like VOO, and then there's literally an ETF for international stocks that you guys could invest in. So that works as well. This one, keep cash on hand. So I don't think Rel and I are going to disagree with this at all. during a time period like that, you might be going through a recession, you might be going through a rough time period, you want to have as much cash on hand as possible. Like your stocks are not going to be there to help you because the value will most likely go down, right? Like the bonds and everything will go down. So it's not the best, and you want to keep all your cash in a high yield savings account. Personally, I keep my stuff in Marcus by Goldman Sachs. So I think cash, I think we both agree on. You have anything else on that?
Nah, definitely keeping cash on hand, as well as like Buffett has been vocal about treasury bills. You know what I mean? He really is high on treasury bills. So as we're in a high interest rate environment, you really should take advantage of that, especially with the uncertainty of the stock market. Now, some people say, hey, the market's been booming this year. So people who are investing in treasury bills like, dang, I could have gotten an even better return in the stock market. That's true. But we don't know. You could have lost because no one expected the stock market to boom like this year.
Yes.
And some people are saying we're about to go through a heavy pullback right now, but that them treasury bills is guaranteed money almost.
Yeah. That's a fact. And that's what I'm saying. Like you might even do a high yield savings account. You could do a certificate of deposit, like a CD. So anything of that sort, definitely look into. Now, I want to go ahead.
I was just saying, they suggested Apple's new high yield savings account as well. Apple has a good one with a 4.15% APY. So
yeah, that's a fact. Now, I will say this: if you're watching right now, this is about to be pretty cool for you because we're about to show you Ray Dalio's all-weather portfolio. Before we do that, real quick, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I don't know what you're doing; you're baiting. But let's get into it, right? So Ray Dalio, if you guys don't know, he is one of the biggest and best investors of our time period. Like, honestly, very similar to Warren Buffett, just younger. He's going to go down in history as one of the best of all time. So when you look at it, there's something that he calls his like all-weather portfolio. Now, it doesn't look too hot. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It doesn't. But the reason we want to show you this really quick is because it's known to survive and not lose in value during recessions. So this is essentially what it looks like, right? So you got long-term bonds, which is like 40%. You have U.S. stocks, which is 30%. You have, it says intermediate, but it's really short-term bonds, which is 15%, gold, and then commodities. So you have essentially this entire breakdown. This is what he himself has used. And if you want to actually like ever read into it, Rel and I have both read this book called Money Master the Game. And it's great because it does put you onto a lot of game. So this portfolio, you guys might be thinking like, what does it really do? Am I going to get crazy gains? I'll be very honest with you guys. You will not get crazy gains, right? So let's just go down real quickly. How has it performed? Remember, the link will be in the description below for you guys. It says since 2006, this has compounded rate of 6% a year. So it's not too hot, bro. It's not too hot. But what I will say though, is if you come all the way down, it says right here, who should not invest in this all-weather portfolio? Those who want high growth. If you're looking for high growth and you want to see like crazy performance, this is not for you. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that one.
All right, so it's not going to be anything crazy for you guys because look, from 1973 to 2022, you gained 4.8% annually. So it's not great, but however, you did not lose in a recession. You really don't lose at all. It's not even close. So as I said, people who get emotional, right, about losing money, or people who just want a very simple and easy and passive way to invest, you guys could check out this portfolio that we just showed you. This is recommended by Ray Dalio himself. Rel and I personally, if you know, we like to just rock with S&P and NASDAQ and rock that out, but that's just another suggestion for you guys.
I completely agree. And mom, if you're watching this, listen, the all-weather portfolio is for you because my mom hates to see her portfolio have any drawdown. Some people just can't see the red. And so if you're that type of person, definitely check that link out because it's going to really bless you.
That's a fact. That's actually, yeah, that's a fact. If you're like on the very safe side, yeah, definitely a good call on that. But if you're still watching, thank you. We appreciate you. Check out, other videos that we have and let us know what you think is going to happen. Like if you think Warren Buffett is right, what do you think you should do? Do you want to take those suggestions? We want to know everything that's going through your mind right now. But like always, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plus, hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week.
And you do not want to miss them. Check us out on Wednesday. But until then, peace.
Peace.
Soundstripe.